Hi, it's Dr. Ron Kaiser, and I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. Uh, I hope that you're still here with me. Um, I've been doing Facebook Lives for quite a while, and this is the first one, though, that I'm saying is an actually live Facebook Live, um, where I'm actually doing it. I've invited people. I've got uh, I've posted it on the Growing Older with Enthusiasm group. I've invited a random selection of my followers, and I wanted to talk about a particularly important concept for people who are trying to make behavior changes. It's a concept that I call defaulting to activity or making activity your default. Now, uh, I'd be interested in your comments, uh, whether you're hearing it live, whether you are getting the replay, because I think it's a really important and often not spoken about concept. Now, this is something that I first kind of developed. I don't know whether it's original or not, but I didn't learn it from anybody. But uh, I worked for several decades in the headache field and treating headache patients who had, in many cases, pretty serious, debilitating headaches. And what would frequently happen is they were incapacitated a big part of the time. Many of them really wanted to make behavior changes, really wanted to become more active, but they were afraid that they would worsen their headaches or that their headache was not uh, low enough to enable uh, being able to make those kinds of uh, behavior changes that they wanted. So what many of them would do would be, in essence, to say, yeah, I agree, it's a good idea to exercise. It's a good idea to take walks on a daily basis. It's a good idea to be able to uh, eat healthier, to eat more fruits and vegetables, to avoid sugary foods. But I just feel so miserable that I just can't do it until I am kind of ready to do so. And the problem is that very often they wouldn't become ready because, again, they have debilitating headaches. Very often their headaches are chronic, continuing for a long time, and there aren't major breaks in the pain unless you're alert to noticing them. And so one of the things that I started implementing and working with them is the notion of making activity your default. Now, we've all learned that when we want to change behaviors, there are certain things you can do to increase the odds of it. Writing it down, having a specific time for it, telling a friend that you're going to do it, making it small and measurable, making it concrete, something that you definitely can state. It's not just I'm going to feel less depressed or I'm going to be happier, but I'm going to do this particular behavior. One of the things that often is not taught is the notion that if your mindset is created to to an extent that you are making activity your default, then what happens is you default to activity. That in essence, you're not waiting to feel good to be able to make that change. You are making that change unless you have an absolute reason not to, that you have actually built in to your thinking process the fact that I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a walk this afternoon between 4 and 4:30. I'm going to exercise at this particular time. I'm going to, rather than watching TV on a mindless basis. I'm going to shut it down at 9:30 and I'm going to begin the process of going to bed and ease down uh, into the sleep mode. Now, sometimes things will interfere with that. I can say that I'm going to take a walk at 4 o'clock, and if it starts pouring at 3:45, I may not be able to do that. Although, frankly, in my case, I've got a seated mini tread that I can use if that's the case. Um, there may be some things that I plan to do, like appear on Facebook Live at a particular time, and there could be something that would interfere with it, like a family emergency or some other issue. But that's not the default. The default is to do it, so that in order to not do it, I have to actively determine that I am not doing it because I have this thing that keeps me from doing it. Whether it's too much pain, whether it's something that requires being outside and the weather is inclement, whether there is some unexpected emergency or demand on my time. But I can be pretty sure that's not going to happen unless I plan to happen. It's not uh, something that, uh, well, if I get around to it, I'm going to take a walk today. Because if we got a pretty full schedule, we can probably avoid that indefinitely, or at least until tomorrow. You know, we, if the headache patient waits until he or she feels better before they start doing some things differently, then we've got a situation in which they may never get to that point. If some of my contemporaries, some of the older adults, uh, have great plans to take a class or to begin reading for a half hour a day or to go screen free for, half the day. And we schedule it in and all, but we don't make activity the default. It's just too easy to be able to continue to do things the same old way and behavior doesn't change. That's actually one of the things that maintains behavior that doesn't change, and that's the fact that inertia is such a strongly held thing, particularly, if you've been walking around and living on this earth for quite a while, you get used to certain kinds of habits, and you know that, hey, uh, the odds are pretty good that I'll not be changed a whole lot tomorrow, whether I eat a sugary dessert or not tonight. But things have a way of adding up. And that's why it's important to have small, measurable, concrete behaviors that we want to change. But then, if we run it through a system and a mindset that says activity is the default, I am going to default to activity unless I have an absolute reason not to, pretty good chance you're going to do that. So, uh, it may seem like a subtle difference that I'll do it when I get around to it, or I'm going to do it unless I have a reason to absolutely not do it. May seem like the difference is subtle. Over time, I've seen that the difference is quite profound. Defaulting to activity almost always guarantees that you will be active if it's at all possible. And activity doesn't necessarily mean physical activity. Again, it could mean something about the way that you're implementing a healthy eating plan. It could mean something about sitting down and reading. It could be discontinuing a particular behavior too much screen time, or not taking a second drink. That, almost anything that you do, you can use activity as the default. Set what that activity is, that I'm going to push myself away from the table before a second helping. I'm going to exercise 3 days a week at 4 p.m. or whatever time. It becomes easier and easier. With any behavior change becomes easier and easier. And defaulting to activity is one of the best ways of making it easy. So anyway, I think that it's an important concept to be aware of. It may not be as obvious as some of the others when we're talking about behavior changes, but if you try it, I think you'll like it. There was an old commercial that said, try it, you'll like it. I think this applies to defaulting to activity. And I'd certainly be interested in hearing what you've got to say about it, whether you've got some examples or so on, whether you're watching this in a live format or whether you're watching the replay. And on that note, this is Dr. Ron Kaiser signing off, hoping that you'll have a real good day and that you'll, as always, default to activity.